Welcome to the Thriving Tides podcast. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Julianne. If you're an entrepreneur or busy individual looking for self-care ideas, you're in the right place.
And we can't wait to share our experiences with you.
I hope that's not what we really sound like when we sleep.
I hope not.
So we're pretending to sleep right now because we're going to talk all about sleep on this episode.
My favorite thing.
Oh, and yeah, just as we were setting things up, I was telling Steph how I slept in today, and a little bit of jealousy radiating from across the closet, I think.
Yep.
But sleep is very important. And so I'm surprised it took us until episode 42 to talk about it, but here we are.
Right? I think we even had it in our list early on
We
to
did.
talk about sleep, but we just never really got into it. I'm really excited to talk about this episode today because we're going to go off on like a bunch of different tangents. And I do hope one day we can actually bring in a sleep expert too. So I think before we even get started, I think we should talk about our sleep. So you're, again, very different than me, where you are actually a great sleeper.
Usually, yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better than you. Better than many people I talk to.
Yeah, exactly. And I come from the camp of I've never been able to sleep, and I've always been a terrible sleeper. I don't know if it's like a genetics thing because my mom's a terrible sleeper, but I also have a feeling it has something to do with like my anxiety and depression and stuff. So
Right.
I kind of wonder sometimes. And have you ever done like one of those sleep clinic tests or know anyone that did those sleep clinic tests?
Well, he might shoot me for saying this, but he doesn't listen to our podcast. My brother has done it before. So he sleeps with one of those machine things.
Oh, the sleep apnea
Yeah.
ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had to do like the trial test thing or whatever, and now he has his own machine at home.
Crazy.
But I think he's the only one I know of that's done that.
Yeah.
How about you?
Sometimes I want to take it, but like I
Yeah.
know I don't have sleep apnea.
But maybe there's
But like
something
there
else.
might be something else that I kind of wonder. But yeah, sleep is kind of one of those things that's always been an interesting topic, and I've read so many different things, and I've probably tried every single thing to try to, of course, like all those like Time magazines or 17 magazines growing up, like
17 magazines. Whew, that
aging
brings
myself.
us back. You're so old.
Right, I'm so old. But like I used to always read them, and they'd always have articles of like how to improve your sleep, and I would apply it, but like it never really worked, I found. And I'm still kind of working on it. We'll talk about it later in the episode, but I have found something that actually really, really does help me. That has literally been a godsend for me, that I'm so thankful to have found. But yeah, where should we even begin with sleep?
So what does a sleep look like for you? Like how many hours would you say that you get every night?
Okay, so right now I try to get 8 hours every time. I find it really important to get 8 hours, and I make sure to go to bed at a certain time, knowing that it does take me a little bit longer to sleep.
Like to fall asleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I always get so mad, and it doesn't really help with my sleep either, but I get mad at my husband because he's one of those people that can put his head on the pillow and then just sleeps. And I'm one of those people, it takes me at least an hour to an hour and a half to even try to fall asleep, and if
Right.
there's any sound, I'm woken up again.
And you're mad at him
Yeah.
because he's asleep.
And he's just like, why are you so mad?
I've heard that from other couples before. It's quite funny.
Oh yeah, like it's a whole thing. I've seen it on TikTok a couple times, and I always send it to him like in a passive aggressive like
this is you.
he's like, I can't do anything about that. Do you want me to stay up? I'm like, no,
But kind of.
but kind of. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like that too. I strive for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Usually successful at it. But I don't know. Like it's tough sometimes because I don't know what time I actually fall asleep.
Yeah.
Right. So I try to be in my bed probably like 30 minutes before I intend to be asleep.
Okay.
Whether or not that happens depends on the day.
That's fair.
But I can't be like, oh, I'm supposed to be asleep right now. Like, I'm not like James. I can't just like close my eyes and be asleep. That sounds wonderful.
Right.
Unless I'm really zonked.
And he's also one of those people that he watches like Netflix and stuff right before bed too.
And he
just falls asleep. And I'm just like, that's like rule number 1. You're not supposed to bring screens in bed. And he's like breaking all the rules and just sleeps.
A rule breaker.
Right? I wish. That's like what, if I could grant a wish for myself, that's what I would want.
I wish I could sleep. That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a tough one. I definitely feel the effects, like especially like if I have a busy weekend or like party time, because you know I party still.
You party.
Yeah,
Party.
not well. But even if I stay up late, I think my body's kind of programmed to get up still around the same time. It doesn't recognize like, oh, you didn't go to bed till midnight instead of 10. I'm still gonna wake you up at like 6:30.
Really?
Yeah. And then I can sometimes fall back asleep when I look at my phone and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to be up yet. But it doesn't always work out. It just depends on how good of a rhythm and routine that I'm on. Because it's kind of like when you think about like habits and building habits, right? I think your body gets on a cycle if you're strict and regimented with it. But then I get loosey-goosey. Everything just breaks loose.
Interesting. Yeah, I heard that, like, if you wake up at all the time at the same time, it's so much easier to fall asleep and wake up because your body knows that this is the time that you're supposed to be waking up and or sleeping. And, yeah, I ruin it because I like to sleep in on weekends. I'm the opposite of that. I'll sleep in until at least 10.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dave's like noon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be.
I'm like, when are you going to get up and hang out with me?
I've already done this and this and this.
Right?
And this.
Oh, yeah. Got my whole day done. But I kind of like that, too. It gives me some quiet time in the morning. It's like I have the house to myself. So I'm okay with that. But
Fair.
it does, like, but I try to stay up late on, like, Fridays and Saturday nights, right? Because I'm like, I can do this. I can stay up late.
So then you're not getting your proper sleep. And
Yeah. Or I'm like pushing through because I'm like falling asleep on the couch. And then he's like, are you sleeping? I'm like, nope. You know, it's such a weird thing to be like, I wasn't sleeping. No, I'm fine. I'm awake.
That's hilarious.
Such a child.
That's funny. Yeah. It's also from like an entrepreneur perspective too. We are always told that you can sleep when you're dead. I hate that saying, and I feel like it's the worst entrepreneur advice that you hear all the time.
Yeah.
Again, it stems from that hustle culture.
Yeah.
And of you just have to keep going because, and it's funny because I even was watching before we obviously recorded this, a TED Talk of this guy, and he's like a sleep doctor, professor, like he just studies sleep.
Oh, cool.
And it's funny because he even said, like, that's the worst saying that you could possibly say because it actually increases your chance of getting other diseases that could then shorten your life. And not getting the proper amount of sleep will shorten your life. So how ironic is that you're actually making it worse? That the way that he put it was obviously much more scientific than I am, but
Well, he's probably dedicated his life's work to this.
Oh yeah, like it was such a good TED Talk. I'll see if I can add it into the links and stuff because I really enjoyed it because it's so true that why, like, and even when you're in school, they say like you have to study, but then make sure you get a good night's sleep before your test so that you can lock in all that information.
Yeah.
So why is it that we're told that when we're young, but then now as entrepreneurs or as business people even, it's like you have to keep going and hustle and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I'm an adult. It's I think as a kid too, it's like your body's, you're growing and developing and all of that. So you think you need your rest for it. But like your mental load needs that downtime too that you don't truly get unless you're sleeping, I think.
Right? Especially as adults, you have more responsibility and more...
Right.
Like, why isn't that it's more talked about that as adults we need more sleep? Why isn't the same being spoken to adults?
Yeah.
I think it's starting to change now because, like, even the other day when I went to the drugstore, there's at least, like, 3 magazines about sleep.
Oh, really?
And it was just dedicated to sleep. And I'm like, okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there, but...
Yeah. And I think everybody, like, there's always the, like... everybody needs 8 hours of sleep or like that's an average, right? Because I do know some people who function really well on 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah.
and that's what they know. So you have to find that sweet spot for yourself. And like for Dave, like he will go to bed at like midnight and get up at 6 through the week, and then he stocks up on the weekend. That's when he sleeps in. Like he still stays up pretty late too. So I don't know how much extra he's really getting, but that's his like rhyme and reason behind it all.
I wonder if that actually works. Like stocking
I don't
up
think
on
so. I'm sure. I think even in my research for this episode, it told me it doesn't. But
we'll pretend that it
says
does for Dave. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's unique, right? So you kind of
Yeah.
find what works for you. Depends on your schedule and everything too.
Exactly. And I think it also depends on the type of person you are and your personality type. Like, I need sleep or else I can't function. Like, I'm already, like, chaotic brain syndrome. So if I don't have any sleep, it makes it 10 times worse. It makes my anxiety worse. It makes literally just functioning as a person. Like, I find it hard to get up and work out. If I'm tired, you bet your bum that I am not going into my workout room.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Sleeping is just like kind of one of those things that kind of goes hand in hand with being a successful, in my eyes, kind of person.
Yeah. And happy.
And happy. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because, like, even when you ask, like, how my sleep is now, growing up, I had the worst sleep. Like, I would get, and no wonder why I failed school. I blame it all on my sleep. But I would literally get maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep, and then I would sleep like on the weekends. Maybe that's what I was doing. I was stocking up on
you were on
sleep.
the Dave routine.
The Dave routine. And yeah, I just would get the worst sleep, especially like after high school and all the pressure started coming and my anxiety started really becoming a huge part of my mentality, and sleeping was just not working for me. And it sucks because I remember making some really poor choices and my mental health decreased so much. And I do think that sleep, it all starts with sleep, right? There's a reason why we need to sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like when I was a kid, I was a great sleeper.
Were you?
And I laughed. I don't know if you were reading my notes yet, but I was like, put it out. I was like, Steph, you're going to laugh at this. Even on Christmas morning,
oh my goodness,
my parents had to wake me up.
That's crazy.
Because I'd just be dead to the world, loving my sleep.
Man.
Mom would get up, crank the Christmas music, open. My brother was the same. She'd open our bedroom doors, wait for us to finally like get up.
Oh my goodness. Your parents must have been like, yes.
Right? You're
Oh my
welcome, Mom and Dad.
No
I
kidding.
must have been,
Yeah.
I was a little shit disturber in other ways, but when it came to sleeping,
Yeah.
it's great.
Oh man.
And once I am asleep, I'm good.
Okay.
Like I don't like usually get woken up by much because like I'm always in bed well before Dave crawls in, and I don't even notice him come to bed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like once I'm asleep, I'm good. But sometimes getting to sleep, depending on what kind of day I had, whether or not I follow my little bedtime routine, my squirrely brain can sometimes go into overdrive, and it's like, ugh.
Especially as like entrepreneurs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, oh, I have this idea for this blog post.
Oh
and,
yeah.
oh, maybe I should do this.
I send myself
And I'm
voice
like,
messages or emails from bed sometimes if I can't get something off my mind. Like I've heard of people who have journals.
Cause I used to have a post-it note of
Yeah.
just for my ideas at night.
Perfect. Yeah. I should do something like that because it's really not good to be like getting on a device in the pitch dark when I'm trying to fall asleep. But I don't have a bedside table.
Yeah.
Our room is a really weird shape, and I put my phone and my water bottle on the floor, and my book. So I just feel like it's too much shit on the floor if I start adding to it.
True.
Making excuses here, but yeah, like if I have something that I can't get off my mind, I feel like if I put it in an email to myself or a voice memo or something, then I can let it go and be able to eventually get to sleep.
Okay. That's so interesting.
Yeah. So many ideas pop up just as we're falling asleep.
Right?
Brilliant. And I never remember them in the morning unless I send it to myself.
Oh, it's so true. Although some ideas, it's funny because I'll go back in my like little journal of ideas that I had. I'm like, it was like an app idea that I had that was really crazy. Like some of the ideas are just
You're like,
so.
that was not a good idea.
You could, like you could tell, like it was 2 a.m. and I couldn't sleep, type of thing. Like it was bad. So I think that's interesting that I think it's a common thing that a lot of people, especially people with a lot on their brains, tend to have that part of like sleeping being an issue is falling asleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, speaking of, this is just funny because I saw it on TikTok the other day and I just have to talk about it. But it was like, how weird is it that in order to sleep, you have to pretend that you're sleeping? Like, you have to put your head on the pillow and pretend that you're sleeping. You're closing your eyes and, like, just pretend you're sleeping until you just fall asleep. But you will not know when you fall asleep. This one, like, I was, like, thinking of processing that TikTok, like, the whole entire day. I'm like, wow, that is so true.
Sleep. But then I find putting the pressure on falling asleep makes it worse, too. Like, on the nights that I can't fall asleep and I get angry and I'm just like, why am I not asleep yet? I should be asleep. Oh, I need to get up. And you're like, okay, like I need to be getting up in 6 hours and now it's 5 hours and now it's 4 hours and it's all you can think about. And it's really frustrating.
The days that the next day you have a busy day.
Of course. Yeah.
Right?
Because you're already like anxious about it and
You're
anticipating
pre-thinking.
like if I have something really important, especially in the morning that I'm nervous I'm going to sleep in or I do not like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be me tonight because I have a big day tomorrow, so. But yeah.
So you're going to follow your bedtime routine after I leave?
Oh, I do anytime, but it still
doesn't help all the time.
Still doesn't really help. But
yeah, that's fair.
So speaking of routines, I would love to know your routine.
My routine?
Yeah, what's your sleep routine? So like what, okay, before we go into like what a routine, like is this like a sleep routine like that you're doing right before or is it like after dinner you start your sleep routine? Right? Because it's evening, right?
Right.
So would that be a sleep routine or would you just consider like the first hour before or whatever?
I think for me it varies. Like no 2 days really look the same for me. And that's not just in my work, it's like just in my life. So like when I think about this week, for instance, even on Monday, I actually had a client call at like 7 to 8, and then I went to yoga from 8:30 to 9:30. So then I didn't get home till like 9:45, and then I was like, oh crap! Like I didn't really think this one out. I had to shower, wind down, blah blah blah. I mean, it was a yin yoga, so that was helpful. And then Tuesday night I was out at my parents' house for supper, and I didn't get home till like 8:30 or something. So, and then what day is it today? Thursday. Last night, I don't even remember what I did. It was terrible. Oh, I think I just worked when Dave left for the studio. So I do try to start winding down a little after supper. But even like when I have supper is different every single day.
That's true.
So it's kind of all over the place. But I have my phone, I have an iPhone, and I have it set of like my like downtime on it. So at a certain time before my like sleep time happens, it actually like shuts off all my notifications and like blacks my screen out. Like I can turn that off and check it, but it's that not like popping up with any notifications or anything like that. Yeah. And then I don't get any until 7 in the morning also, even though I get up before that, so that it's not me being distracted by stuff. So I do like that. But it's more just like I usually have a snack.
You have a snack? You're
I like a bedtime snack. Yeah. Depends on what time I eat supper, of course. But for a long time, for many years, I ate a snack before bed every single night.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely was a habit ingrained for me, big time.
Interesting.
And then like sometimes I wait to wash my face till closer to bedtime, but sometimes I'll do it like earlier because I just want my makeup off.
Fair.
I'm all over the place. And I have to read to fall asleep. Nice. I can't just like go into my room and lay down and fall asleep. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'll read, and sometimes I read like 2 pages and I fall asleep, and sometimes I probably read for an hour.
Oh, wow.
Because I get really into the book.
It's like a catch-22. You're like, ah.
Yeah. But I struggle if I don't have a book to read in bed.
And are they like books that are...
I like fiction in bed.
Okay, yeah, because that's the thing. Like
I have read like self-development improvement books, but then I find that's like it takes a different part of your brain. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that's why I can't read before bed because I only read the like the not self-help, but a lot of it's like business stuff too,
Right.
and like marketing stuff
Yeah.
or branding stuff.
Yeah.
And then it gets my wheels turning. This is when I come up with those weird
Yeah.
apps
Yeah,
and stuff like
for
that. Is
sure.
when I start my business brain starts going,
Makes
ooh,
sense.
we're talking business again? Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we were winding down. Guess not.
Guess not. We're business now.
Yeah. I have read books like that at bedtime before, and I've recognized that it's just not good for me. So,
Ugh, I wish I liked fiction books.
oh, they're so good. You don't like any?
I've tried so hard because it sounds so cozy and lovely to get lost in a book, as the book people in my life say.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. It's just like, if it's not a real story, like I could probably, if it's a real story, I could probably get with it. But
What about a biography or something? Could you read that before bed?
they're just boring to me. Like, for example, like I don't care about the celebrities because at the end of the day, like I can't connect with them. You know what I mean? Whereas like when I read like the self-help or the business books, I can connect with it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's like my own thing. I really, like I said, I've tried so hard
Yeah.
to get into it.
Have you
and
never been into fiction?
Not really. Like I've never been a big reader though. Because especially growing up, I'd rather do art but you can't really do art before bed. So
True.
I don't know. It's weird.
I like
don't really...
putting my nose in a book. I've always been that way.
Oh, so jelly.
Yeah. So that's definitely my thing. And I added in my notes Dave's new bedtime routine. He swears now by a teaspoon of honey before bed.
Oh, you were telling me about
And
that
it's
the other week.
gross.
Gross. That's not a thing, Dave. That's not a thing. Gross.
But I even asked him, like, I didn't even tell him we were doing this episode. I was just like doing the dishes before I came here, and nonchalantly I was like, so he's still doing your teaspoon of honey? And he's like, I think it's working.
It's a shot
of
sugar.
Maybe it's placebo, but I mean, there's so much sugar in his system anyway.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's a little sweet tooth.
I did try it one night because I was like, well, I'll just whatever. But I was like, ugh, it was too much sugar.
Ugh.
And like, I like honey, but I like honey on things, not just
By
straight in my
itself.
mouth.
Like, I thought that was like a sick thing that you're supposed to take a shot of
Right, to
honey.
like help your throat or
yeah,
something.
not sleep,
I don't know.
But
I don't know. He read
where
it
did he
somewhere.
get it?
He
Where
read
did he
it
get
somewhere. So if anyone, is
man.
interested. But yeah, so that was a very roundabout way of saying that I have somewhat of a routine. But it looks a little bit different every night. But I mean,
it's not really a routine. It's more like a flexible standard that you kind of do.
Yeah, like you wash your face, you brush your teeth, take your contacts out.
Yeah, like it's not
Try
regimented
to wind down.
like a morning routine, perhaps. Like our morning routine episode where we're like, this at this time.
Yeah, no, it's a little more flexible, and always kind of like working back from like, okay, what time does my day start tomorrow? What type of workout do I want to get done before my day starts? Do I need to wash my hair? There's all these different questions that I ask myself. I'm laughing about the TikTok that you sent me yesterday. And so that and then I'm like, okay, so if I need to get up at this time to do all those things before my work day starts, then that means I need to go to bed at that time. So I just kind of like figure it out. Like not having a traditional 9 to 5 where our days don't start at the same time every day kind of gives that little bit of flexibility too.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that's one thing that we don't really talk about too as entrepreneurs is that we do kind of have a little bit of a flexible, well, for us anyway, the service-based.
Yeah, unless I have meetings, which no meetings are ever before 9 a.m. And even usually not until 10 most days.
I was going to say, I always book like
you are, yeah, I know you're at least 10. If I have a forum day with clients all day, then it starts at 9, but that'd be the earliest.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, see, I still need like at least 4 hours to wake up fully.
Hello, I'm here.
Because that's the problem. I like sleep so much that I find it really hard to wake up no matter what. If someone could give me tips on how to wake up from sleep, that'd be great. Because that's one thing that I find it hard.
Yeah.
And it takes me a couple hours to really get out of the groggy state. But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like me in the mornings.
Yeah, we're so different. It's hilarious.
So let's dive into your routine, Steph.
Oh, goodness.
I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, so my sleep routine usually starts at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. So usually...
Except for when I'm here.
Yeah, pretty much. But like I don't have as many extracurricular activities like you do in the afternoons. Like I usually try to just stay home.
Yeah.
And usually it'll be like my husband will watch some TV or I'll play a game or something. I'll do something else. But usually around 8:30 I start setting up like my whole entire comfy nighttime routine. So I'll make sure to change to my comfy PJs, and of course they have to be super cozy. And then I'll go and do my 30-minute intense skincare routine.
30 minutes?
Sometimes more.
It's been like 5.
So like, okay.
You're going to thank yourself when you're older.
I was going to say, I've already noticed like a huge difference in my skin in doing this, which is really crazy because I didn't think I'd actually see any results, but I have noticed like my skin feels more firm and stuff like that. But anyways, I digress. Before, like when the pandemic hit, I was like really big into watching skincare YouTube and TikToks, and I learned so much. So I bought like a bunch of products, and I have an average of like, I want to say 5 to 6 items that I use every single night, and like it's like a process in itself. Like I take my time with it. I give myself like a little face massage.
You're not just like rushing through it.
And I'll put on like a calming like I watch a lot of like right now I'm really big into like cozy gaming for like the Nintendo Switch, and I'll watch like reviews on cozy games and stuff. Like I'll watch like something and I'll just, it's my time, and I spend like 30-45 minutes, and
good
I'm
self-care.
It's awesome. Like it is nice because I'm taking care of myself, and I use like I don't use a lot of scents because it's not good to use a lot of scents in your skincare, but there's one thing that I use. It's like a chamomile, and it's an oil-based cleanser, so it like basically melts all the makeup off, and then I'll do my cleanser so I don't have clogged pores because of all the oil, but it smells like chamomile, and then that induces like that sleeping kind of smell. So that's when it hits me, okay, now I'm going into my nighttime routine.
Yeah.
Which I think
using
is
all the senses. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm a Taurus. Of course, I'm going to use all the scents.
Yeah.
And then so I'll do my skincare routine, and then I'll go into my room. I'll set up my diffuser, usually with lavender or chamomile. But it's funny, my husband hates it. He hates that like the smell of essential oils. But
you win.
I win. Well, like, what's he gonna do? I put it on. He's like, he can turn it off, but he won't. So I don't know, deal with it.
Yeah, pick your battles.
He goes to sleep in 2 seconds.
Right.
I don't.
Maybe because of that too.
Yeah, maybe. No, he's always been like that even before I met him. But yeah, then I'll try to do some journaling. So I do have that 5-minute journal that I think I shared at the beginning of our journey. And so, because it's a morning and evening reflection kind of thing. And so it's like 3 things that were great that happened and what was something that you could do differently. Which is really good reflection, because sometimes at the end of the day we can say, oh, we had such a bad day. But then again, it goes back to like the whole gratitude. If you say, oh no, this actually was really good about today, even though the other things didn't really turn out how I wanted. Yeah. It's kind of a nice reflection time.
True.
And then I do have like, ideally I would read, but like I do tend to go on my phone. I'm not gonna lie.
To fall asleep?
Not to fall asleep, but I'll just like be on my phone for a while until I start feeling tired. But even before that, this is the thing that has really helped me sleep, and I'm so scared to get like canceled for it, but like it's legal now, so I don't really get why I get so
canceled. Yeah. It's just not as talked about as it could be.
It could be, exactly. And that's why I'm kind of happy that we are talking about it, because it literally made a huge difference in my life on so many different things and has helped so much. Yeah. So I do take cannabis right before bed, because for some reason cannabis, I can't take it like recreationally to have fun, because I have like one puff and I'm like sleep. I'm out. Yeah, like I don't know what it is about it, but it just makes me super tired, which I'm so thankful for, because I can have just like a couple puffs and I can fall asleep naturally. And I used to take, and that's the funniest part, I used to take all these chemicals and unnatural sleeping pills and try all these different crazy solutions that when you really think about it, it can't be healthy to take all these like fake chemicals to fall asleep.
Right.
But then here there is a
you don't
plant.
want to be putting all that in your body.
Exactly. Like here's a plant that I can just have a little bit of.
Yeah.
And it makes me go like right away to sleep. You know what I mean? And so I do have it every single night. And I have noticed that like it's been huge. So I do take like CBD during the day sometimes when I'm having like really bad anxiety, and it helps.
Yeah.
But I'll take like the full cannabis.
Yeah. Get the THC in there.
Get the THC because that's what really makes me go to sleep. And I know it sounds weird, but like I actually get emotional. I don't know why I'm getting emotional about it. It's just cannabis. But like I considering how bad my sleep was, how grateful I am to have found a plant. And the funniest part, I never smoked weed during like in school, like at all.
Yeah.
I was not a big drug user in school. It wasn't until I met like my husband that I started smoking. And then here I was like falling asleep. I'm like, oh my goodness, where have you been all my life?
Right? This is wonderful.
Yeah. Like I was like 25 when I started. And it's crazy that like I feel like it needs to be talked about more about other benefits and stuff, like especially used for stuff like this, where like I used to take, oh my goodness, how much melatonin, and there's studies that like you shouldn't be taking that much melatonin because it then messes up your melatonin if you take too much melatonin.
Right.
And here I
we
was
do produce it a little bit naturally too, right? Like,
exactly. So here I was taking like 4 to like 5 of those little like gummies every single night when you're supposed to only have one, because I was trying so hard to fall asleep because I was tired of having 2 to 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, you just can't function that way.
Right? So, and it's crazy because I have noticed that it does help. And like if you get the full 8 hours of sleep, then that also helps, therefore, with your mental health and that anxiety that I also have too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're way more on your game if you're actually sleeping a full night.
Exactly.
And yeah, if that's what it takes to get there, that's great. And it's awesome that it's a legal substance now.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about like, oh, should I talk about it? Should I not? Like, even though there's still crazy stigma with some people for whatever reason, I think it's new, right?
It's new, and I think people, like, the whole propaganda around it, too, like, it is kind of scary. Like, the fact that it was so illegal before, and that, like, but then when you really look at the studies and how no one's really died from cannabis, like, you know what I mean? Like, but then there's other people that get into opioids because they can't fall asleep and stuff like that, but then they're overdosing on opioids, you know, or it then snowballs into something even worse.
There's a lot of things that are way more dangerous and you can actually overdose on and or have like really bad long-term effects from and like I don't want to sell anybody, especially if you are anti-cannabis, like this is just my story and like how honestly like it changed. Like I now sleep 90% of the time. Awesome. And I was just telling you before we even started recording, like even the days where I do have my crazy, like I need to have all these ideas, I'll go back, have a little swig of my vape or whatever, and I'll then go back to bed and be able to sleep. That's awesome.
And like to have that solution, it's just so great.
Well, I've seen other people too, like even like out socially, and they're like, oh no, I can't have any because it like puts me to sleep, and I just don't understand it, but like clearly it works for you.
I think I'm one of those people too, like we'll go and I'm like, nope.
You're like, oh no, I don't need to be like falling asleep in the corner or being like, because a lot of people get socially awkward or like especially if you have like people with anxiety, I think get really paranoid when they are on weed too. So yes, there's a lot of that can happen too. But I mean, if you're home and you've done all your like chill stuff, your 30-minute skincare routine, you've got your scents going, like you're in that vibe and you're in that zone, and you know you're safe, which is great.
Exactly.
Yeah, good for you. That's great to find something that works.
Oh, like I said, I'm so thankful.
Sleep is so key to so many things. Like we alluded to it a little bit before too, but like there's a lot, if you're not sleeping properly, there's so many other health issues that might come up for you. So like it's not just the mental stuff, right? But like we're not truly functioning well. Like I know when I'm tired, then I'm also going to drink more coffee, probably less water, probably going to eat more shitty, right? Like we're not making good decisions when we're fatigued.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that either.
Yeah. Ugh, sleep. Who needs it? No, I'm just kidding. Do you nap? Do you ever nap?
So, no. But that's just because, like, I find napping is a waste of time. And I'm already, like, if I could nap or I could watch 30 minutes of TikToks.
But I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I wish I liked napping. And, like, the thing is, I've actually seen some studies of, like, micro napping. So, like, for 30-minute intervals.
Yeah.
And, like, it's actually supposed to be I actually read it on Entrepreneur blog of how it's actually beneficial for people that have a busy schedule and a lot on their mind because you're able to reset certain things. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah. I love the micro nap.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
You're a micro napper?
Yep. I'm good at it, too.
You're good at it?
So modest. If I don't know, there's certain days where I'm just, like, between 2 and 4 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm so tired. Like, I just can't sit in front of my computer. I can't do anything, and I just don't know what to do, and I want to be productive because I'm me. And I can just set my alarm. Like, usually I'll set my alarm for, like, 40 to 45 minutes because I know I'm not going to immediately fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I always nap on the couch, not in bed, which is weird, but I don't know. I just like napping on the couch.
I was going to say, yeah, you can't. It'd be different than it's not a nap. You might fall asleep.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I can then just, like, sleep for 20 to 30 minutes and then get up, chug some water, and I jump back into my day.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. Because, again, I find it hard to wake up.
Right.
So, like, a nap is like, oh, I couldn't sleep for another 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden it's like an hour later, like, oh, shit. That wasn't a micro nap.
Yeah. It was a macro nap. Yeah. Yeah, I like them. I'm a big proponent of napping. But it doesn't always fit the day, right?
Yeah.
I don't do it all the time. It's more just like if I'm working from home that day and I don't have any meetings and I'm just feeling sluggish. Like, because I could just like, oh, I'll just take a break and watch TV or something. But I think what I need to do is just like let my brain just shut down.
Interesting.
Not be looking at a screen or trying to absorb new information. Yeah. And then it's like, what else could I do? That's the only thing I can do. That's none of those things, I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to pass it off to you guys. Would you guys nap?
I love a good nap.
Like, I don't actually know a lot of people that nap.
Besides children. Just a big kid.
Bedtime snack.
Bedtime snacks. Napping.
More milk.
Where's my bottle? Right? Yeah.
Oh, man, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, and those are the joys of not having children, too, is that I can do things like this whenever I want to.
That is true. Well, I always kind of wonder, too, like, how, like, affected your sleep can get, too, when having children. That's another reason why I'm like, part of me does not want to have kids because of that, because I can barely function as it is. And I get 8 hours. I can't imagine, I'm now just getting used to 8 hours of sleep. I can't imagine now going back to 4 hours. And
it's different from what I hear. And I laughed. My friend who has a almost 3-month-old posted today, and she's like, they say you're supposed to sleep when the baby's sleeping, but how can I sleep when I want to watch her sleep because she's so cute? Like, oh, I'm so sweet. But yeah, like, of course, and then all of this goes to say, and like any like personal development stuff and whatnot that I had was like, we talk about sleeping and getting your 8 hours and doing whatever, but also doing all the other things. Ugh. Like, if you're a new mom or a new parent, just, like, sleep when and where you can. Yeah. Don't worry about any of the other stuff. This is just what I hear from people. But, yeah. Exactly. It's important to still take care of yourself as best you can. And, you'll down the road, maybe you can get into these routines. But yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I do find, like, I find that my sleep is much better when I'm doing all the other things that I need to do for my own well-being. Right? Like if I'm getting my workouts done and eating properly, journaling, like doing things that make me happy and like having a good, full, fun schedule, then I can sleep better at night.
That's fair.
I think maybe it's like part of my mental health, part of just pure exhaustion. But yeah, doing all those things just really helps.
Well, they do say like working out is supposed to help your sleep no matter what time of day you end up doing it.
Yeah. Try not to do it at night.
Yeah, because it gives you all the adrenaline.
Okay, let's go. Except for like, yeah, like a light yoga is usually not too bad as long as it's
yin.
like a more chill. Ooh. Yeah.
If you haven't tried a yin, do it, especially before bed. I find it's like nice. The most relaxing sleep after yin.
But it was a hot yoga yin, and then I had to still shower when I got home because I was gross. Sometimes it's night because you're already just like, right? Like you're just like, I just want to crawl into bed, and then the shower kind of wakes you up sometimes. So.
That's true. Yeah,
that's just life. Could be worse.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find there's times like that you need more or less sleep, like, or do you just try to keep at that 8 hours as consistent as you can?
I try to keep it as consistent as I can. Because the thing is, even though like I have found a solution, there are still going to be days where I get 4 hours. And again, it's usually the days that I have something really big the next day. So I can't just sleep in because of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of realizing that. But usually I'll try to make up for it where if I do have one of those busy days that I didn't get a lot of sleep the day before, I'll spend an extra long time. Maybe I'll do a mask after. I'll do more of my self-care routine. And the thing is, too, I even read an article that I really liked, and it was talking about how like sleeping is probably the best part of self-care. Because like you were saying, if you do all these other things, sleep always connects everything. Right. So I don't know. I'm trying to not put as much pressure on it because like I said, I was a person that was reading all the articles. Yeah. You know what I mean?
How do I sleep?
How do I sleep? But now I'm just kind of like realizing you have a solution. You average quite well considering. For sleep. So I try to be easy on myself enough with the pressure because I think if I started putting more pressure and being like more regimented, I need to get this, then I feel like I just go back into a bad circle of emotions when it comes to sleep.
Yeah, you kind of get into that regression then because you're like, why am I not asleep? I should be asleep. Why am I not sleeping? And,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is funny that like I just want to bring it back to like of the eating too because I never really realized to like your metabolism and like resetting everything how important it is for sleep and how if I don't get good sleep I will totally have a bunch of coffees. I was the person that would have like an afternoon coffee growing up, which is like crazy. Oh my goodness, young Steph just made really bad choices.
We all did.
And it wasn't even bad choices, it's just like regular choices.
Right. Yeah, it's like how could a cup of coffee be bad?
3 coffees? Who cares?
Yeah, it's fine.
Afternoon.
Right. And I've heard that like I think like 50% of that caffeine content stays in your system for like up to 8 hours. So like if you have a coffee at like 3 p.m, it's still in your system at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
No wonder you can't fall asleep.
And then you top that with like the fact that if you have anxiety like I do, caffeine is also not really good for it.
Correct.
So that's why I have to limit myself to 1 cup a day or else I am just like
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I usually will have 2, but my last one is never past like 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just because I just love coffee. It just tastes so good. I don't think I even drink it I don't think it really even does anything for my energy, to be honest.
I was going to say, I don't notice
I just
anything.
enjoy it.
Yeah. It's just nice to have a warm Have you tried green tea alternatively?
Yeah. It's just fine. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
I have lots of different teas. I have a couple different like black teas and stuff like that too that, I don't know. I just kind of switch it out.
That's another thing I sometimes add to my sleep routine. I sometimes have a
tea.
sleepy time tea.
Oh, yes.
I love my sleepy time tea.
And do you find that does anything?
Not
you just
really,
like it?
but
It's just
I
like,
just like it.
It's comforting,
It's
cozy.
like the smell. Like my
Yes.
mom used to always get like, especially because my mom would always. I feel bad for her because I know she probably felt bad that I didn't get a lot of sleep because she also knew how it felt to not get a lot of sleep. So we'd always have sleepy time tea. So like for me, it's more of like a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know the sleepy time tea with a little bear on it. Yeah, like that. I have like the regular and the extra strength always in my. I don't find that it does anything in particular. I do find I get crazy dreams though, which is pretty interesting. Oh, new tangent that I just thought about too, like dreams. I feel like those are also really important when it comes to sleep, and we're going into the woo-woo stuff that I like. But like I've been starting to dream journal a lot. Like so I'll wake up and dream. I'll wake up and dream. I'll wake up and write down my dreams.
Okay.
And sometimes it's very interesting because then you'll like Google like what does this dream mean, and some of the stuff is like kind of spot on of like the feelings that I had either the day before or how I'm feeling throughout the week, which I think is really interesting. And because why is it that we dream, right?
I don't really remember my dreams ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Like even as you soon like wake up.
Nope. Gone.
Interesting. Yeah, see, like I think I've always dreamed like dream searched my dreams since I was young.
Yeah.
So I remember my dreams for at least like 30 minutes after I wake up.
Oh, wow.
But that's why I have to write it down like right away.
Yeah. And then they're gone. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dave remembers his quite vividly usually. He'll be like, oh, yeah, I dreamt this and I dreamt this. And I'm like, I didn't dream last night. Well, I'm sure I did, but I don't ever remember them.
Interesting. Well, there's some people that don't dream at all, though. Maybe you just don't dream and...
I'm just not a dreamer.
You're not a dreamer. No, just kidding.
Only when I'm awake.
Oh, man. Interesting. Okay. I guess yeah.
It is cool, though. Like, I find them interesting. I like hearing other people's dreams.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. Oh, now I want to go to bed. No. It is like, I think, especially as entrepreneurs, like we've kind of said a little bit throughout this episode, it's just so important to take care of ourselves. Like many of us are hustling.
Yeah.
I hate that word, but we have to show up as best we can. And if we're exhausted and sluggish, like we're not showing up for our clients in a way that we want to, we're not putting out the products at the right, at that level of expertise. And then we just kind of spiral, right? And then the self-doubt kicks in and the anxiety and all the different things because we're not taking care of ourselves.
So
and a lot of it just simply can be mostly solved with a really good night's sleep.
So true.
And, for some people, that means maybe like you go book yourself in a hotel for a night sometimes too, right? And sleep in a big, comfy, strange bed. I sleep great in hotels because I used to travel all the time when I worked corporate.
No way.
I also I'm one of those people that I fall asleep on a plane before it even takes off. I'm out like a light. Trained myself so well to be able to do that with all the corporate travel. Awesome. Dave's like, I hate you.
Yeah,
how are you sleeping right now? And I'm just like, then he takes pictures of me sleeping with my mouth wide open on a plane.
Oh, man.
Jerk.
That's hilarious.
It's a weird thing about your partner who likes to watch you sleep, too. Like, that's weird, right?
He watches... Well, I don't... James could never because he's always
asleep first. You watch him sleep.
Well, more like anger. Like
yeah.
darts.
Anger watch.
Anger watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's in my genes too, because like that just made me think of like my Grammy and Grampy. Like, he would be like asleep on a bench at the mall while Grammy's shopping.
Aww.
Like just like, and that man could sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
So maybe I got that from him.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. He's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Oh
Man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good hubby.
Yeah. That's so cute.
Yeah. Okay, so before we fall asleep, let's maybe we can share some of our tips for getting a good night's sleep before we wrap things up.
Definitely. So first things first, get rid of those devices. And I'm taking the hit for this one because I know I definitely keep my devices on and in my room.
Yeah.
But I do make sure we don't have a TV in our room. We are very much anti-TV in our rooms because we probably would keep it on. So
yeah, I like that.
No
We don't
screens.
have a TV either. My ex needed to watch TV to fall asleep.
No.
And then I started, because I still in that relationship too, I was always in bed first. Apparently I go to bed early. And so I would be asleep and then he would come to bed and turn on the TV and it would wake me up. So that drove me nuts. So then I started just turning on the TV before.
So
And then I kind of got in the habit. But now that's been over 5 years since we've split. So I've kicked that habit, luckily. But now it's a fan. Dave needs the fan on. So to like block out noise. So I turn the fan on when I go to bed so that he doesn't turn it on whenever he comes, because I think that might bug me. Plus I don't know. It took me a long time to get used to that. I have to have it like tilted a certain way because otherwise it like blows my hair in my face and I get really angry.
That's really funny.
But he hears all like any little thing.
Why doesn't he get like I actually wear these because I'm the
Like
same
earplugs?
way. Yeah.
He does use them sometimes too.
Cuz like I'm one of those people, I can hear like a creak from downstairs and I'm like, intruder.
Who's here? Yeah. Although Cashew would probably bark before. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe
Yeah.
not. And then I'm like, here I am, like my machete is right there.
Yeah. Good to go. Good to go.
Ready.
Yeah. But
Come
I
for
agree.
me,
Yeah,
intruder.
I agree with the no TV. I use my phone as an alarm, and I think many people do. So it's like trying to find that balance of like, okay, use it just as your alarm then. Right?
Or invest in an alarm.
Yeah.
Like my alarm is my husband because he's
up first. Yeah.
Get yourself a husband that'll wake you up.
Right?
There you go.
Problem solved. Those were so easy to find. No big deal.
But yeah, I think it's a really hard one for me to like not use my electronics. Unfortunately, I do not have the fancy iPhone that turns off the thing, so I will get notifications, and I'm one of those people. I'm so curious.
Like, what is it? What's that?
Well, it's a comment. Oh, I need to see what the comment says because again, my design / marketing brain's like I need to respond right away, or else they're gonna think that I'm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. What else?
Another good one is actually creating a very restful environment. So first and foremost, it's actually known and proven that your room should be naturally cold. So like we use the oh my goodness, what are they called? The sun blocking curtains so that it's always super dark.
Curtains.
The blackout curtains.
Yeah, we have those too.
So first and foremost, it creates the darkness that you need. But then it also blocks out the sun so that your room doesn't heat up during the day. So that's why, like, I feel like a lot of people have such a terrible sleep in summer, which is coming up soon, guys. But, like, that's why we have such a terrible sleep in summer is because it's so hot and it's easier for our body to acclimate when it's cold.
It's, like, hard. Like, I, like, run into bed and, like, curl up because it's, like, I like cozy. A cold room but cozy in bed. Right?
Yeah. And see, like, I have my husband's a friggin' little heater, and I have a weighted blanket in my bed too, so it's like extra hot because it just basically insulates the heat.
Right.
Which sucks because like I do find I get like a really good sleep when it's cold, and I love my husband dearly, but sometimes I can see why some couples get the duo beds or the two beds.
Yeah.
Because, oh my goodness, the furnace.
Yeah.
I call it my furnace. I don't like it. It's too hot. And especially since I have like 3 blankets on me at all times for comfort's sake.
You're crazy. Yeah.
But like, that's a huge part too. Like, we spend most of our time in bed. So buy the extra thread count.
Do it.
Get the nice mattress. Invest in a good ass pillow. Like, this is a place where you spend pretty much half your life. Yeah. Invest in it and create a very restful environment.
Yeah. I think we're going to invest in a air conditioner this year.
Nice.
Because our room gets crazy hot. It's even already getting there and it's not even hot outside yet. Last summer, and maybe the summer before too, we dragged a mattress to the basement and just slept in the basement.
Oh, I'm so jealous of you. I have a basement even to do. Oh.
I mean, where our mattress was where my office is and my workout is, and then my bed was there too. I was like, am I back to living in a bachelor pad?
Right.
Like, what's going on here? But
Whatever works.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the environment makes a big difference for sure. Yeah.
And even like the colors of your room. I've heard a theory that like there's certain tones and colors. That's why my room's blue, because it's supposed to be calming. But like there's even like say where like if you do darker colors too, it's the natural. Like there's this like I've read so many books and magazines about it, but the psychology of sleep that like if you walk into a room, and that's why I also use a lot of scents, because scents naturally indicate like, oh, this is sleeping time. So that's why I use lavender and chamomile, because that's my brain's activation that, oh, we're about to go to sleep here, Steph. So start winding down. Yeah. So that's like the next tip is use scents and stuff in your room. So get a diffuser. I know some people that have like a spray as well that they put over their like bed sheets and stuff. Yeah. There's even like roll-ons you can get and put like it right there if you have you don't have a diffuser. Yeah. And there's some people that like say that if you put certain essential oils on the bottom of your feet, it helps you sleep.
I've heard that too.
I've heard that. I've never tried it, but like let us know in the comments if you've tried it, because I have no idea if that works. But
that'd be interesting.
But yeah, smell has a huge thing to do, and especially when we're talking about the environment too. Yeah. It's all about setting that tone.
Big time. Yeah. Big time. And we already talked about like cutting out your caffeine, things like that, because you just it does impact you.
It really does.
And then think about like what soothing things you could do before going to bed. So like I was talking about, like we talked about yin yoga, but maybe it's having a bath or just a relaxing shower or something that just kind of like chills you out, right? Like warm and cozy, and then put on like a nice cozy robe, or like Steph loves, like she has a million things of pajamas over here.
Oh yeah, super cozy.
But yeah, just kind of like things that get you all feeling good.
Exactly. Could do a sleep meditation. There's a lot of sleep meditations, which actually I haven't actually taken a look at it yet, but I did notice that Netflix now has a Headspace sleep version of the meditation stuff that they did, which I'm definitely looking forward to looking at. But again, it's just like, it's weird because like the electronics thing, like I want to do it, but then it's like, okay, well, is it counterintuitive to bring the screen in then? You know?
But is it like, do you have to watch it, or could you simply listen to it? Like, could you be like laying in bed with your eyes closed?
The thing is, you'd have to still turn it off.
Couldn't it just turn itself off?
Would it though?
I don't know.
That's the thing, like, because Netflix just
maybe not on
plays,
Netflix.
Right? So that's where it's like, well, why would I do this whole entire sleep thing? I could see like maybe getting into it and then like turning it off and then like sitting in bed and journaling or something and then slowly drifting maybe. Right. But I haven't watched it, so I have no idea if it takes you into like a full sleep.
Yeah, I don't know either. I have turned like like meditation apps on my phone, and I've like on nights that I find my brain a little more squirrely, I will turn them on. But I don't know if they really help or not.
That's fair.
I mean, I eventually do fall asleep. I think that's more like when I don't have a book.
That's fair.
Like, oh no,
I need to do
something. Get a new book. Yeah, which I'm on the last of the fiction that I have in my house right now. So, I mean, if anyone has a book,
recommendations sent to Julianne.
Yeah, my friend Jill just gave me like 4 not that long ago, and I'm already on the last one.
Oh,
I'm just like, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
I love that.
Yeah.
See, yeah, and another thing too on the sleeping one, I did actually buy, it's like a headband. It's headband, but it's where you can actually like put like lay your head down, because that's the thing, I usually listen to headphones. James hates like noise, so like I actually bought a specific headband for it, and I find it, I like it, but at the same time I have to take it off and then turn off the thing. So, but that might be a thing if like you're really into like listening to stuff as you sleep and stuff. I really enjoy it. Like, it doesn't have like the best sounding audio, but you don't really need it. It's something, and it's flat, so you can actually like listen to it, which I think is kind of cool.
I'm like smiling thinking back to our habits episode and how you're the one who like buys things for things.
Yeah. All the things I have. It's a miracle that I have a house.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but there's so much that we can do to really just like, if you be intentional about getting a good sleep, right? Because I think it's easy when you're not a good sleeper to say, I'm not a good sleeper. And then it's like going back to the stories that we tell ourselves too, right? Like if you always say that and you truly then start to believe it, you're not going to have a good sleep. So how do you switch that mindset and set yourself up for a successful, restful sleep?
Exactly.
There's lots that can be done. And just like any self-care routine, a sleep routine is very individualistic. There we go. I'm like, that wasn't right. So test some things out, right? We've thrown out so many different ideas on this episode. And, if you do struggle with sleep, see which of these things might work for you. Or if you are a rock star sleeper, please share.
Yeah.
Let us know what that's like for you. And then maybe that'll help others too. Because I'm sure there's many other things that we haven't touched on tonight.
And that's the thing too. Yeah. If you have any other ideas or something that you do differently that has really helped you in your sleep routine, let us know. Yeah. Because I'm sure like not only do we want to know, but I'm sure the audience also wants to know as well. So
yeah.
Thriving Tides, Instagram, Facebook, hit us up. We'd love to tell us all the things about sleep. But yeah.
Cool. I'm ready for bed.
I was going to say, let's go bed.
Sleep time.
Sleep time.
Yeah.
And with that, guys, take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Thriving Tides. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
Follow us, Thriving Tides, on Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube to stay connected. And remember, don't fight the rip currents.